Relax, relax. It's just your fans. It's your adoring fans. See, baby? Lucky, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, Lucky is adoring fans. Oh, now she's posing. There we go. Hi. It's okay, it's okay. You're looking, they're looking. Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this installation of Hello Neighbor. I figured today is a good day for Lucky Cat to say hi. She has been looking extra cute recently. Yes. Oh, okay. Oh. Yes, so that was our extra special live greeting from Lucky Cat. Hi, Chris. It was cool to hear about your cat that came home after 3 years. That was pretty amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, for all, for all of you who just got on, we just missed Lucky Cat. A few minutes of spreading the good vibes that she does. Good vibes that she does. I'll see if I can get her back. Let's see who else is here. So, hey, Chris. Hey, Lantern Hill Morgans and Pirate Cat. Hey, Joyous Day. Hi, Sheena and babies. Hello, Melanie. Nice to see you. Hello, Renate. Hello, Batwoman. I told Lucky Cat has fans. Lucky Cat has fans. I was actually talking to my friend yesterday, my very dear friend, and I was telling her how I finally, I was thinking about this self-worth and self-esteem concept. And when I think about ways in which I can improve my life more, I know that that's an area that I need to work on. Um, just because there's, when people think of a lack of self-worth or a lack of self-esteem, they think of an inferiority complex. That's not exactly something that I would have. I figured it out yesterday. I said, first of all, recognizing that there is a self, which is an independent being. Okay, I've been working on that, point number one. But point number two would be thinking of, and of rather knowing that this being has intrinsic value and worth for existing. So, um, so for me, the biggest teacher of that has been Lucky Cat, which is why I wanted to start today's live with a bit of Lucky. So for those of you who missed it, you can go back to the beginning and see her little face. And when I see Lucky Cat sleep, when I see her sleep, and she's peaceful, somehow I know the world is a better place. And that's true for my little girl as well, though I get a different feeling there. But with Lucky, it's just, she's a Taurus, by the way. So it makes sense that she knows that lesson. When I just see her being, I go, I know this world is a much better place because of this little child. So maybe the world is also a better place because I am around. See, I grew up in a situation where personal worth and value was never explicated. It was always a situation where what good you did externally for others was your only real measure. Success, achievement, reputation. These were always those things. The thing is, it never resonated with me, even as a child. But I knew I had to shut that part of myself down because you can't be that vulnerable in a situation where your emotions are liable to being discredited or invalidated. So only when I came out of that situation could I actually allow those aspects of myself to come to the surface. And as I said, Lucky Cat has been my primary teacher. As me and my brother say, now what's Lucky's motto?
Eat well, sleep well, poop well.
Eat well, sleep well, poop well.
All will be well.
And all will be well. That is Lucky Cat's motto. And that, I believe, are words to live by. Mind you, she is absolutely fussy when it comes to food. So is my girl. But there's just a certain way she does it that she has a right to be here. So when I see that, I feel deeply inspired. And that's how I learn things, less talk, more, ooh, that's what it looks like. Okay. So for me, I wanted to share that very powerful lesson. It was very cute. My friend brought me some roses, and Lucky Cat was still like sniffing the roses, doing this. We believe she does have an issue with substances because she has shown extreme proclivities towards catnip and anything that might get a high. Um, but yeah, she likes roses. So, it was just something very, very, very sweet. But it's a segue into a deeper conversation and topic about worth and value and what that actually means. So, because when everything gets stripped down in your life, you have nothing to do but to look at what you can do next and how you can best do it. And I also realized, because I've been investigating different aspects of my numerology and how I come across and so on and so forth. And for the life of me, took me so many years to figure this out. I kept doing what I thought was the most ethical thing to do. I always had a very strong moral compass. Even when I was five or six, I was in kindergarten, and it was in one of those schools where I was supposed to be in good hands because it was supposedly posh, but it was deeply racist, and I was hated there because I was very intelligent. Still am, but obviously for kindergarten standards, it seemed very impressive, and people just hated me for it. And I wasn't even one of those know it all types. I really just wanted friends. But because of my skin, because of my ethnicity, it was never accepted. But I remember there was one girl called Stephanie, and she was never particularly nice to me, but she was running around, and there was a little like where you control a window pane, that little knob on the side. Her shirt had caught on it, and her sleeve had torn. And it was a day where we had PE class. So everyone had a change of clothes. And I just, without even thinking, I was just like, here, take my shirt. And she washed it, she gave it back, and she said thank you. But it struck me that no one else there had the presence of mind to do that. And that is just something I naturally did. And I'm not saying to big me up or something. I'm just saying that's always been the person that I am. So I've always been directed very much on outward acts of service. And yes, I've been, taken advantage of many, many, many times because of that. And in my head, I was always thinking, yeah, but I get it. When you look at the reasons why people say, oh, you're letting people take advantage of you or whatever, whatever, you have inferiority complex, a lack of self worth, a lack of self esteem. And, these words never sunk in my head until I realized, no, 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 no. My issue is more foundational than that. I've never actually been allowed to be a self in the first place. It was always function, 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 work, 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 because I was someone who was in the public eye from since I was born. Community work, social work. That's why I learned all this shit fast. And for me, doing this is not a big deal. For me, the real big deal is stepping out of those roles and embracing more of my humanity, because I think that's where the real work is done. And again, the girls have been phenomenal teachers. Phenomenal teachers. I mean, you can't, like, all you have to do is look at a being like that, and you will know what you need to know. You don't need anything else. If you are willing to learn, the world is here to teach you in so many ways. And sometimes it teaches you through the very cute, cuddly, and sometimes pugnacious looking face of a little cat. She has meowed. She is listening. She is listening. So, yes, and Lucky Cat. And I know a lot of people want me to be their teacher, but my only student is Lucky Cat. I teach her to do things. It works. The girl is very gifted. But getting back to me, so, I mean, I remember when I was in my teens, I was watching Robin Williams' Patch Adams, and for me, there's something about that man that I could connect to, and he made me cry. He was one of those very few people that could hit me emotionally. And in Patch Adams is this movie about this guy, for those of you who don't know, who takes on the medical system in the sense that he doesn't make it about pills, but he makes it about just human connection, making a person laugh, making a person smile. And there's a very famous scene where he's in a kid's cancer ward and he goes around with a red clown nose and he tries to make them smile and he does. And you can see these are not like actors, these are actual kids. And you can see Robin Williams and he's smiling, but you know inside that he's breaking. And that scene just made me want to like bawl my eyes out. I remember being told, even as a teenager, no, don't cry. Your nerves can't handle it. No, 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 don't feel anything. And no, this was not a joke. That was literally how I was raised. So, so I was just like, okay, this is not safe at all. But that's one of the reasons why when Robin Williams eventually, when he took his own life a few years ago, I remember that night. I knew something terrible was going to happen, and it was like I was sitting up vigil the whole night. And and I got the news. I don't think I've ever recovered fully from it. I don't think anyone who truly loves that being ever has. It's yeah. He just touched people in a very different way. But he's one of the, in some sense, one of the movies I related most when I watched it was Bicentennial Man. Because what is it? It's a story about a robot who realizes that he is more than being an automaton and he finds his humanity. He makes his humanity. He literally forces himself to die next to the one that he loves so he can receive the recognition of his humanity. And that was a story that always stuck in me because Isaac Asimov was the first real author that I read and that I consciously chose to read. And this was again a very foundational story. The man had a thing about robots becoming people and in fact being more than people. Hang on, that's the delivery. Anna, grab. So, so just the doorbell might ring in a sec, just letting you know. But yeah, so reflecting on all of these things, it was simply not safe for me to express in all of these things. And so I just shut all of it down that it really, I didn't understand. People would come up to me and find something in me, whether or not I was trying to help them. And I really did not know how to relate to it. So I kept doing what I thought was the right thing. And over the years, people who have seen me, despite me not having an ability to recognize myself, have been the ones who have stuck by me as friends. And I am deeply appreciative for the very, very few people who could do that. But it has been a journey. It has certainly been a journey. It has certainly been something that has allowed a lot more life to enter when you are willing to no longer play that role. And for me, the role that I had to give up of was the role of daughter because it was tied up with all of those public expectations. I was the youngest trainer in this country several years back, and there was a time where people of my ethnicity, all of them, would know exactly who I was. And now I am completely anonymous. I, in part of the reasons why I am a hermit is because I don't want to go back to that life. So, in this sense, developing a virtual presence and a virtual community has been a good reprieve. But up till recently, it's never felt right for me to step out of that space that I was in before. And I would say it's been a good thing. It's been a very humanizing influence. And again, Lucky Cat has been a master teacher to all of that. So thank you, Lucky Cat. Do you think she wants to see her adoring fans again? Let's see. I think we might get Lucky Cat part 2. Let's see. She poses. She poses. I did not know a cat could do duck face, but she literally grabbed the camera the first time I was taking a picture of her, and she did this.
It was not duck.
It was duck face. I literally have the photo.
My baby is an innocent.
Sure. Oh. Yes.
No violence, baby girl.
We also call her the caramel bear, who's now backing her butt into place. Maybe she's not in the mood, but that's okay. That's
Hold her
okay.
for a while. You
That's
can just
okay.
focus on
So
Little girl.
you can stand behind me. That's easier. Okay, you can see the baby. Hello. Hello. Look at this bear. Do you see this bear? This is my great master Taurus teacher. She's master. You know your master? Yes. Yes. Yes, she is. So I wanted to share that story with you today, also because my friend said, do it because it's very powerful. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. But that's one of the
Great
main
teacher.
things. That's one of the main things I wanted to talk about today. Worth, value, and coming at it from a place that isn't up here. The reason why I know the shit that I know is because I did all of that stuff. And the biggest change for me has been it came actually in my early 20s. I was in the UK. I was 20. I started my PhD, and as soon as I got there, a series of events conspired and knocked me out for an entire year. I was so tired I couldn't even lift a fork. So now we know adrenal fatigue, complete breakdown of the nervous system, and basically spent that year sitting and listening. I tried getting different types of modalities, chiropractic stuff, homeopathy, and I looked into different ways and spirituality, and I tried to look into different ways of understanding myself. But that was really when any real wisdom that I would credit actually entered my system. Up till that point, it was intellect. But my brother asked me, how did you do it? And I go, well, one day I could feel a little warmth inside of me, and it felt small, and I felt that I should protect it. And he said, yeah, that's a very you thing to do, because that is something that I do. If I see something is small and innocent, I'm going to try and protect it. That's just what I do. And that relationship has been evolving for the past 10 years. Externally in life, different story. But internally, it's been a very rich and rewarding experience, you know. I don't begrudge the first part, obviously, some of the nastiness that happened and all of those control dramas and narcissistic family, gaslighting bullshit. Oh, God, no, I don't like any of that stuff. But what has happened because of it is that now I have a perspective that I wouldn't have had before. And I have the tools to articulate that perspective because honestly, I sound like and I talk like, even when I'm trying to flirt with someone, if they ask me for something which is related to work, I automatically sound like a dictionary because that's what I did as a kid. I read dictionaries. That is what I like to do. So, mind you, I have started flirting again online and it has been going swimmingly well. I still got it. It's been a couple of years, but I'm like, okay, nothing, nothing too saucy. But I am quite pleased. So that's something that does bring me some little happiness. But I guess reflecting on all of that has allowed me to see where that big shift and transformation in my life occurred. And it was very much a movement from the external to the internal. And, because a lot of what I have achieved in my life so far, you can look at my LinkedIn profile. I don't need to talk about it, it's all there. A lot of people would have achieved what I had already done by the age of 25, 30, at the age of 50 or 60, because I accelerated everything in my life. Um, but, it's now it's completely different. Now what I want to do, honestly do is sing, do art. I have this vision of having cat friendly paints and making cat butt prints with Hanuki, my daughter, because I know she would like it, and just selling them. And pottery, because all of these are all of the things that I always wanted to do. I know that a lot of people have found me aloof and they've projected their own shit into it, but I remember being the type of person who wanted to go to festivals, who wanted to do all of those things that family of origin said was too lowbrow or was for common people to do. A distinction that I always did not. Yeah, that caused a lot of issues. I remember also rebelling even in terms of choice of clothing, because I was supposed to look the refined part. So either I would go around looking like a punk, or I would be flamboyant in a very masculine way. I remember when The Matrix came out, I had like a coat made for me, like Keanu Reeves, except I had it in like a burning orange coat, and one was a shimmering green. It sounds super expensive, but no, tailoring was quite cheap. And they made fun of me. They absolutely did. But I was just like, no, I'm not going to become like you. And I just went off in a way that, on the one hand, suppressed some very deep emotional aspects of self, but on the other hand, it compensated by absolutely rebelling. And unfortunately, family of origin was also very African, so I got compared to that very often. And we see that a lot in Indians. It's like, hello, people, have you not noticed this is brown? That is a different shade of brown. What are you talking about? But that was also something which was levied at me as some kind of barb when it's not. I did go to South Africa actually this year. I didn't want to talk about it previously because it was a very personal matter that I had to go for. But I did go there, and honestly, it was a very interesting experience. I felt like I could fit in the sense that, and I don't mean this in a sizist way, but in Malaysia, very few women are as tall as me or as large as me. Finding trousers that I can actually wear is, those are moments that I could cry for, because you can't find clothes for me here. So I went there, I was just like, there are women bigger than me, and they seem to look at me like I'm not a giant. This is fantastic. But that was an interesting experience, and I came this close to actually doing a second PhD, and I have all the paperwork, and everything was ready to go. But the universe intervened, and life got turned in a different direction. And it's certainly been an experience, completely different experience. I am hoping at some point to go to Kenya, because I would like to see the elephants and the giraffes, and I would like to get a reaction video of Lucky Cat looking at a baby elephant. We assume that baby elephants are going to look at Lucky and think, it is a smaller elephant, it might be a mammoth, protect it. I can see that happening. I can also see my little girl mightily sitting on top of an elephant and riding it, because she's got that very imperial look. But Lucky Cat, they're probably going to think it's like the last baby mammoth or something. I'm pretty sure of it. She's our little caramel bear, and she translates in different ways. One thing that I have done this year, through a lot of external crises, I learned how to rap. And I'm not going to do it here because I'm very self conscious, but I learned how to rap because of Lucky Cat. And what we tend to do is we sing songs like as the girls, and we have little voices for the girls. And they seem to like it. They know when their song is being sung. So we believe, and I believe that Lucky Cat's DJ name shall be Lil Valiant. That is one of her many DJ names, because she's got something. She's got something. We believe that she's probably an LGBTQIA Black Latinx, if we had to like pin it down. But that covers a lot of brackets, and she has the sass. But it's one of those things that has kept us sane-ish. I guess in this time, sane-ish is probably the biggest aspiration. But yeah, she's been a wonderful little teacher. She really has, and she has shown a lot of growth. I remember when my brother, well, actually it was me. Month after Hanuki Cat came and found me and chose me and adopted me, Lucky Cat had climbed up 3 flights of stairs, I think, 2 or 3 flights of stairs, and she was tiny. And I was walking out of what was my brother's office at the time, and she has this birthmark on her face. But at that time, her face was much smaller, but the birthmark was the same size. So, and it was right on where her nose was. So I looked at this, going to my brother, "What is that? It has no nose." And then I was like, and my brother was like, "No, it's a cat." And he wasn't entirely sure it was his cat. And I'm like, "No, that cat found you." So, after much convincing, Lucky Cat became my brother's cat. And then she became part of the family, but she had a lot of anxiety. Probably someone was mean to her because of that same feature on her nose, we think. And but my girl is different. When she came, she was already 1.5 years old, and she looked like a princess. She could sashay her way into anything. She reminds me of Marie from the old cartoon Aristocats. She's got about the same personality. All I have to do is put a pink bow in, and that's it. If she reincarnates, we think that she's going to be probably a flaming gay French fashion designer. She has a thing for French accordion music, and she likes cheese. And I bet you if she could drink wine, she would. She's just got that attitude. So, so when she came, it was very different. She was already Miss Sophisticated, though with me, she was a baby. And when she chose me, I was so happy because honestly, in my life, I tend to have tended, hopefully that changes now, I have tended to be the person who gives everything. And very rarely do I see people or do I meet people who choose me for me, not because of the function or the role, but because of the person. The only other being, and we call her Hanuki Zero at this point, is my very, very best friend who saw me when I was in my undergrad, and she saw me speaking about something, and she just sat there, looked at me, and went, "Okay, I'm adopting this one." And that's happened in my life twice now. One with her, and she was the friend whose wedding I went to, and the second was with Hanuki Cat. And Hanuki Cat looked at me, and because my brother had seen her the week prior, and he wanted to take this little sweet cat home, but she refused. So I came back. It was a very depressing time, and honestly, if she didn't come, I probably wouldn't be here. It was that bad. And I saw her. I rubbed her head, and she followed me. And I didn't know what my brother was doing. He held open the lift, and she walked in, and I panicked. I'm like, "What? This might be somebody's cat," but we verified that it wasn't. And she walked around like she owned the place. And then I remember, and this is definitely one of the sweetest moments in my life, she found a space above my head and she slept there because she didn't know where to sleep. And I swear to God, I had never felt anything like it. So when they say, when you meet your soulmate, there's supposed to be like lights and angels and trumpets. Well, I felt it with this little girl, and it felt like the whole world spun. And she's been with me since. I used to have a completely different life, running around 7, sometimes 10 countries in a week or two, doing things. And now, no, I have to think, a lot of times before I even go out of the house, because even if I go for a couple of hours, this one will be like, "Mommy, I have been abandoned." Yes, yeah. But that's the other side of it. I know she could be walking out there wagging a tail around, but she chose to be with me. So it's both of us are a good grounding influence for each other in that way. And she has taught me a very different set of lessons, but she's also been a profound influence. So that was the first night. Then she got so, and I remember, and she's probably not going to like me talking about this, but I remember first few days she didn't know where to go to the bathroom. I didn't know much about, I still don't know too much about kitty litters and whatnot because I was having OCD. But when I was in the bathroom and she'd follow me everywhere, and she still does, she decided, she looked and went, "Mommy is pooping. I'm going to poop too," and decided to go and poop right next to me. And I swear to God, I know for some of you who don't have cats, it probably sounds very gross, but it was adorable to me. And these are the kinds of things that I never had. These are the kinds of things that I never had. We always wanted to have a cat as kids, but we were literally told it would be cut up and made into soup. So we didn't dare. So I had stuffed toys, I had stuffed cats. And it was a big experience in my life. The best way to make me cry is just give me about less than a minute. And if I think about how much I love my girl, I'll just be like, my deep feelings. So that's the best way to make me cry. So Christine says, oh my God, that's a horrible thing to say to kids. Honey, we had a lot worse. We had a lot worse, but that was just one of the reasons why we never got a chance to experience that. We were always trophies, not people. So, and this is I know I speak for my for my brother as well, and he had a different set of things. If you look up the narcissistic family tree, they couldn't decide which one was the golden child and which one was the black sheep. So they kept kind of alternating it. I wasn't even allowed to have a good relationship with my brother till both of us independently made it happen in our early 20s. So, on the surface, though, I was living the dream life and I was doing this and that, but inside it was more like, mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. But even now, it's a bit of the opposite. And I know why all of this is coming up. I know the timing of it. I know why this kind of review is happening, but it's a moment of pause. It's a moment of recognition. It's a moment of awareness. Um, and it's also a moment of giving thanks to Lucky Cat, the master teacher, whom, when I look at her, I know, okay, so this is what intrinsic value looks like. All you have to do is look at a sleeping innocent, little child, baby, cat, whatever, and you'll know, you know? I think maybe that's one of the reasons why humanity has continued to have hope for so long. Because at some level, we look at this and we instinctively just know. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Think anything else I should add?
I think you covered Hanuki and Lucky, master teachers.
Haven't covered Hanuki so much, but I wanted to showcase Lucky and her deep and meaningful lessons.
Yes.
You know? So, so let's see. Any comments pertaining to this? No, all good. Batwoman says not low self-esteem, but almost expression, acceptance, reclamation. Though none of those words either. It's something a lot more foundational. I would say it is more of just see, even awareness is not the right word because that's still a mental concept. But to have an experience of what is self, I mean, I know, and then these are the clients that sometimes I get quite annoyed with because they look at where I am now. They go, oh God, but you're so confident. You don't have my problems. And I think to myself, honey, you have no idea who I am and what I've had to live through. I remember times in my life where the anxiety, the racism, the bullying, the gaslighting was so bad that I couldn't even leave my room because I remember feeling like if I were to take a step, the earth would crack, like, I would fall through. That is what I had to deal with. And now, well, not now at the present moment, somehow I managed to go around and take all those steps and go all those places. But it was never a given. It was never an easy path. It was never, something that came effortlessly and whatnot. Though I know people like to projection. And now I would say the thing that comes effortlessly is looking at and appreciating the love and the wisdom that I am surrounded with. I would say the two most precious beings to me in my life are those little girls. And yeah, they give me hope, basically. But yeah, let's see if there are any questions or comments or what else do we have here. Oh, Nacha says, when I was 7, I went to the shelter with my mom to adopt a dog. While there, we met a lady who was crying because she was there to give a cat up to the shelter, so we went home with the cat. Oh, that is sweet. Ms. Rasmutas says it's recognizing vulnerability. Still no. It's a process. See, the moment you try to put it into words, you're losing the essence of it. And that's why what I'm talking about, you can't really define. It's the best that I can come to. And this is already still, it's not enough. It's like you feel and you feel none of the words will fit. It's one of the reasons why I try to stay away from trying to articulate a lot of spiritual processes and concepts, because I know the moment you get stuck on a word, you try to fit in with it. I mean, also, I know so many people who, like me, would have a much more foundational issue with even realizing, or if you want to call it recognizing or becoming aware of, that, hey, there is a person here. This is not a hollow space. There is a consciousness here. And it has a presence, it has an effect, it has a being. It's like being able to differentiate yourself as an independent thing from your environment. And I know people who have had to go through upbringings and experiences like me will relate to it in some way. But it's something a lot more foundational. But again, the best experience is looking at that kid and knowing, yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what. That's just knowing that you are here. And that's just being what you are. Sure, I can talk about this concept at an intellectual level, but when did I feel it? It was when I saw her. But I mean, it's one of the reasons why I've tried really hard to start various books, but I get hung up on the words. I'm good at words. I can say that. I'm good at words. But the words don't actually help, though. People, well, very well meaning people either try to self diagnose themselves or others, and they just end up with these narratives and these boxes. And a lot of my work tends to be breaking through those boxes in the first place, because words don't do it justice. Just look at a cat or a dog or a baby. Pure, authentic hearts, as one of you has written, as Christine wrote that. Pure, authentic hearts. And you will know beyond shadow of a doubt. And that is something which I have found to be deeply rewarding. I mean, in fact, me and my brother have been talking about what we want to do going forwards, because we refuse to play any and all of the scripts that were sent to us. And one of the things that we'd like to do is we'd like to set up an animal shelter. We've been discussing what it could be. I would like to have an elephant shelter. And we were discussing between Robert and Bobo as the name of the first elephant. But we finally agreed on Robert Tiberius III. So, okay, I still like Bobo. But it's because they teach, and they teach, and that's one of the reasons why we need to protect the planet. That's one of the reasons why, I mean, it's not just because of that, but each being has such a pure essence and such a pure spirit. Each plant has that, you know like in our garden, when the rats invaded it and refused to go away, I just let the garden be the garden. And then two very protective plants just took over the whole thing. It looks like a forest now, and I haven't done anything. Acacia and the noni, they're huge. And I look at them and I recognize that sentience and I recognize that presence and I feel it. Again, recognition, that word is still somehow up here. But I feel it, I see it, and I talk to it. And I think to me that's it's not so much about spirituality up there, but it is about living it in an embodied way in the here. Again, words, but the practice is what counts. In fact, we're hoping that we will get some permission from them to make a wreath for Yule with some, and then this is still technically the northern hemisphere in terms of longitude, latitude. So it's going to be Yule coming up, and we're hoping to make a wreath with some of the leaves there. And I got some ribbons and everything, so that should be quite interesting. We have that little project, but yeah, it's just deep feelings, deep feelings. So let's see. Mm. Christine says, reminds me of the movie Avatar, the non-verbal communication. Yeah, it's a good example. In fact, that was my favorite scene in Avatar. That's a very good example. Yes, of course, it was Pocahontas in space. And we didn't actually like the story. But the scene where she communicates with the animals and she speaks to Ava, who then comes in charging with the animals. That was like the best shit ever. I was like, yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. Personally, if they had taken the hero out, I would have been much happier. But anyway. V Stormfeld, which says, look up the song Joy by Bastille. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay, I will do that. I will do that. Um, Music is good. I have been listening to different kinds of songs because we play a lot of music in this household. But usually I like having something on in the background whilst I'm doing something. Obviously, Madame Hanuki likes jazz. She likes jazz, especially Tokyo jazz. She likes French accordion music. Lucky is a bit easier. She's not so fussy about music. But Hanuki will tell you if she doesn't like something. Let's see. Other things I listen to, sometimes funk, sometimes cool fusions of things, sometimes gypsy music, sometimes classical crossovers from rock music. We've always got something playing. Japanese jazz from the 70s is actually really good, instrumental jazz. So that's what we do here. Uh, okay. It's Pure Gold says, I need a rap song. Maybe at some point. I would be very super conscious. But I can, but when I think about Lucky, I can do it. But most of Lucky's rap songs are filled with the word yeah, because she's got that face. But maybe at some point we'll see what her daddy has to say about it. But yes, we also basically make all songs about the girls. Like from the Backstreet Boys to Disney, we make cat versions all the time. It's just what we do. As you can see, who technically might not run the household, but who is the center point and the center focus. But yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. Trying to see what family is without the bullshit is certainly a very interesting experience. So most of the time I just say, oh, and people go, oh, are you married? Do you have a kid? I go, no, I'm divorced, but I do have a daughter. She has 4 legs. And they're like, oh, so yeah. Let's see. How is Hanuki feeling? She's still sitting there. Hanuki is lying down contentedly and does not wish to be disturbed. So, but yeah, I think this is a good Hello Neighbor. And again, it's about feelings, deep feelings, feelings. Um, let's see. I think that, I mean, I've been looking at materials for the Tier 23 program because obviously I need to eat and feed the girls. But I do know that for the next couple of days, this embodied presence is going to be more important than ever. That's probably why I felt the need to do this. Christine says, have you ever heard Jingle Cats? Oh, interesting. Okay, that sounds like a thing I could definitely look into. Thank you. That should be very cool. It's Pure Gold says connection needs no words. Precisely. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Um yeah, just do in your own ways, do your thing. Do your thing. Just keep coming back to that you-ness. We Stormfeld, which says deck the halls with screaming possums. Fair enough. Fair enough. We are going to go and buy a Christmas tree, a small one, and just decorate it smallly. We've also got some Yule stuff going on, but we wanted the girls to have a cheap Christmas tree. So I've managed to find a space where they can't get up on the table of. So we're going to buy a small thing and decorate it. And we have cat hats, which we will be doing for our Christmas special. So they've got their Christmas hats ready. So that's going to be fun. Um, Sarah Coward says deep feelings. Deep feelings. Ms. Rasmussen says, Dr. B, thanks you for being you. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's not been easy, I can tell you that, but I appreciate it. Christine says, I love opossums. They are gentle and cute. Oh, I've been looking at, because on Instagram, what I like looking at is animals. And that has been very sweet. Like I saw a big cow like play with a ball, and I was like, ah, you know, there's sentience everywhere in plants, animals, crystals. You just know how to look. Actinolite was an interesting suggestion that woman gave, so I'll have a look at that. But yeah, there's just sentience everywhere, and you can learn if you're willing to learn. We just have a very niche idea of what to learn and who's a teacher and whatnot, that we actually miss out on so much when we just don't see the people who are around us. But yeah. Christine said, will your cats actually wear hats? Good luck with that. They will for a short while, especially if it's for a photograph. These girls, they know their star power. They absolutely know their star power. Mr. Asmutas says Dr. B slowing down helps. I've had to this year. I've certainly had to. Lucky loves to high on life. Yeah, yeah. We had some dichotomous earth on the car seat. It had gotten there by accident and it's white. So my brother's like, what is she licking? And I go, it's dichotomous earth. It's okay. She probably thinks it's cocaine, but yeah, she's doing her thing. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share. I know that my methods may not always be obvious, but in hindsight, it will make sense as to why I'm saying this and why I'm sharing this today. It's the medicine that's going to be needed for the next few days, especially. Just don't worry about the words. Just keep, keep doing, being whatever it is that you are, you know? The only thing I would say is, in conclusion, as important as it is to come back to whatever experience you can call selfhood is, if your selfhood is devoid of compassion for others, for the world around you, for the life that you coexist with, then maybe it's not yourself that you're looking at. But yeah, beyond that, enjoy coming home to something that is a lot deeper. I hope that people can take that message. So I send all of you much love and very many blessings. And yeah, stay safe, be well. What is it? Eat well?
Eat well, sleep well, and poop well.
Eat well, sleep well, poop well, and
All
you
of
will
it.
be well. Lucky sayings for life. Take care and ciao ciao for now. Bye bye.